Welcome to A&B Horror Movies. I'm Aaron, and I'm very excited to be joined today by Emil Strom. Emil, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Happy to be
Oh,
here.
absolutely. I can't wait to chat with you today about your new film, Winemaker, that you directed, wrote, and starred in, about a filmmaker who visits a winemaker's estate to learn about the secrets of making the perfect wine. And things don't end well. I'm going to leave it at
When
that.
you're ready, three, two, one.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm a winemaker. I use a lot of spiritual organic practices in my wine.
And from these, I'll produce wine I will drink.
I don't know.
Maybe we should move on to the second part of my winemaking process, huh?
I can watch from over here. Jack!
Feels like a wave
Oh, hey.
crashing over
Purge
me.
the evil out of it.
I close my eyes and I see your face. Love you.
It begins.
Well, first off, congratulations. I've watched it twice now. I think you've created something very intense, very scary, and a nice installment to the found footage subgenre. So, congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's really nice to see that people are connecting to the movie. So thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. So, let's jump right into it. My first question is, how did Winemaker come about? What inspired you to make this very creepy and subtly intense film?
I decided I wanted to take matter in my own hands, just create something on my own. So then
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'll do this movie and I'll put it online and see if anyone wants to actually watch it. So it came from wanting to create my own work and create work for friends or local talents. And
Okay.
so I just went about that way. And
Mhm.
then I had worked with Barrie, who plays Jack, before. We'd done some short films before. We've been to acting class together, so I just had him in mind when I wrote it. So I wrote the synopsis and the base of Winemaker, and I pitched it to him, and I said, "Are you keen?" And he said, "Yes." So then I wrote the whole script, and we went from there.
That's amazing. So you're are friends with Barry beforehand. You've worked with him on other projects. Like you said, when you presented the script idea to him, what was his feedback? Was he immediately like, "Hell yeah, I'm in. Let's do this," or did he have some criticism? Let's say.
I mean, we worked before. We did
Okay.
this kind of short film before, and I was leading the way there too. Like I had written the script, and let's do this way, and he was keen. So I sort of knew that he wanted to do it. So when
Mhm.
I told him, he was. I think it was all. Yeah, it was all good on his end. Obviously, our characters. I had him write lots of his backstory on his own, on all of those creative choices as well. So I let him lead the
Okay.
charge a lot on his character.
Mhm.
But overall, yeah, he was on board from the beginning.
Excellent. Yeah, it comes together so well. So my next question for you is, was it always going to be a found footage film? Did you ever consider making it more of a scripted, not a found footage format? Um, I guess, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Was it always going to be found footage?
Yes, and that's mainly because of the budget
Of
constraints.
course. Yes.
Yeah, but also I love found footage. Chronicle
Mhm.
is one of my favorite movies, of course, a high budget one. Paranormal
Yes. Oh, that's a good
Activity.
one. Of course. Mhm.
Yes, yes. So I've always enjoyed that kind of real thing in found footage, something that normal movies sometimes do not capture,
Mhm.
where it's not been scripted and there is this kind of natural interaction between two people. And if you do it right, I think it can be very interesting and unpredictable on where a scene or a story could lead into. So that's always been my what's drawn me into doing found footage as well.
Yes, it can be so powerful, and it works so well with your current film. And so with Winemaker, it's really focused on these two characters and the relationship that develops. Obviously, you wrote the screenplay for it, but how much of it was improvised? How much sort of came together organically once you started filming Winemaker?
So all the scenes you see were written down. I had all the scenes written down, and then in
Okay.
the scenes there were room for improv. So, for example, the scene where we are by the vines and he's
Yes.
recite. What is he doing? He's planting the poems
The
in the
poem. Oh
ground.
my God, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that scene actually finished after he had planted the poem. So that's as much as I wrote of the scene, and whatever happens
Okay.
after when he's being very I don't know, happy or whatever, and he starts to
Yes.
recite some of the poems or whatever. That was all improvisation, and we only did that in one take. Actually, that's one very long take, maybe 15-20 minutes altogether. So I was very happy
Okay.
how that turned out. But yeah, so a lot of the scenes were written, and then we just see where it will go or end in a way.
Sort of naturally, and I think that's why it feels so real and so natural when you're watching it. I've got to say the moments where you're looking at the camera and your facial expressions as you're sort of responding in real time to this very unique individual is just perfect, man. You did such a fantastic job with that. And
Thank you.
the moment you're talking about where he sort of falls backwards and well, he has like almost like a chanting moment and then falls backwards in the grass. It's just
Yeah.
perfect. It sort of encapsulates how eccentric and unusual this character is. Uh, my next question for you is, what was it like filming the night scenes? Because it's very creepy and scary. They're out in the middle of nowhere. It's dark. Was it scary filming those scenes, or was it more just all by the book? And when you weren't filming, what was it like, when the cameras were turned off? Were you sort of creeping each other out, or was it a fun atmosphere and setting to be in?
We were very much on a work mode, especially the night
Okay.
hours. So, like, the reason I filmed in New Zealand winter was because the sun went down at 6 p.m. So we would have this window of
Mm.
like 5-6 hours before we get exhausted.
Okay.
When we shot the night scenes and like when it was pitch black or when we had the night vision mode on the camera, then it
Mhm.
was super pitch black. It was extremely difficult to like see and do everything. So we would sort of rehearse it when the light was switched on and then sort of do it in the dark, but also fumbling a lot.
Yep.
So it was extremely hard. But I think it paid off. I think it became this kind of natural thing in the dark, so which I envisioned it to be.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's quite a twist in it, which I'll get to in a moment. Um, and that's amazing. The night scenes are incredible. They're very scary, and they just work really well. And the second time I rewatched it, I watched it in the dark, versus at the
Oh.
gym, and it was a very different experience. So there you go. So my next question is, because I mentioned that you wrote, directed, and you starred in, what was it like, or what's the challenge of taking on so many roles when creating a film like this, or any film that you've done so far?
Well, I would, if I could redo anything with this movie, it would
Yeah.
ironically be not casting myself as one of the leads. It was
Oh my
extremely
gosh. Okay.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult being an actor on set,
Mm.
filming, and then directing yourself, and not only the other actor, and then looking after everything else. Extremely time consuming, obviously, but a lot of energy going into it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would. That's the number one thing I would do, not cast myself, because it was just like massive headache every shooting hours. But it was
I
fun,
can
but it
see.
was
Yeah.
very challenging. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, you did such a great job as the lead. So going back to Barry, what was it like working with him on the film? And I guess a little bit of a glimpse into the behind the scenes aspects of it. How many other people were there? How big was the crew creating your film? Because when you watch it, obviously it feels like it's just the two of you. But what was it really like behind the camera?
Working with Barry was amazing. I think he exceeded my expectations. As I talked about that scene with the by the vines, for example, I did not expect that. As I said, we shot it once, and I was like, okay, I'm super happy with this. Let's just move on. And there were a
Yes.
lot of other moments like that where he would just go into his flow of the character, and I would just be like, "Ding, we got it. Let's move on to the next scene." Super happy. Yeah, I cannot recommend him as an actor more. Yeah, it was amazing.
Very talented.
In ter-
Agreed.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and in terms of how many people were on set, it was for the most of the movie, it was just me and him actually. So I would have organized everything. So that meant catering and like just all the aspects you can think of that needs to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
taken care of when you're shooting like 10 hours a day, for example.
Mm.
Which was also a challenge as well. But yeah, it was a very minimal production, and I think I managed to pull off what I wanted to pull off.
Mm. Yeah, I think so too. Can you speak to, thank you for sharing that. Can you speak to the timing of it? So how long did it take you to write the script? Did it just, was it one of those experiences where the script just sort of wrote itself? Or was it more labor intensive? And then what was the filming time frame and also post-production? How long did it take for Winemaker to come into existence?
So to even write the pitch for it, it took me 2 months to just get it sort of right for Barrie. I was like, I need to convince him to say yes to be in this movie. So,
Yes.
and when I presented it to him, it was sort of like 40% done. So that took 2 months. And then when he said yes, it took another 4 months to just finish writing the script and just organize everything, meaning props, all the fairy lights, just all the props and what other things did we do? Like all those plastic tubings and stuff and empty wine
Yes.
bottles. There was a lot of things to organize with it all.
Mhm.
And in terms of shooting, so there's one reason why my head is shaved in the movie. It was for continuity purposes, because I knew we wouldn't have time to shoot it all in just like a few days. It took us,
Ah,
yeah, we filmed during, and I can never get my hair to look the same every day.
yeah,
So
yeah. Easy preparation.
yeah, correct. So it took us 2 weeks to film it, but spread out throughout 3 or 4 days, I think. So it
Okay.
was all over the
Wow.
place. And we did not shoot in sequence either. So we shot all the day scenes, obviously, when it was daylight, and then the night scenes. So we would jump in the script depending on if it was the sun was out or the sun was not there. So it was a lot of challenge in that way too. So everything was all over the place and keeping track of all the continuity, like all the props where everything would be laying when you had not
Yes.
filmed for a week. Like, oh shit, okay, you have to remember, like, okay, we're in this scene now and blah, blah, blah. So it was just insane. But yeah, it took 2 weeks then with him, I think 3 or 4 days or 3.5 days. And then I shot the additional, well, the scene at the end, the extra scene, so to speak.
Yes.
I shot that in Stockholm, Sweden on holiday with two of those actors separately.
Okay. Okay.
And then the third actor, the one, Connor, the one with the American accent, he shot it
Yes.
remotely in a different part of New Zealand and sent it to me. So yeah, the shooting was a little bit all over the place then, I would say.
And okay. Okay. Yeah. That end moment. No spoilers, and I do have some
Yes.
spoiler-free questions for you about that. But before we get to the twist that I didn't see coming, works so well. So nicely done there. You mentioned the improvisation that Barry did, and I'm sure you did some improvisation as well. Were there scenes or improvisation moments that you had to cut from the film that you truly loved but just didn't work with the movie, or was it mostly, stayed by the script, filmed what you needed, and then some of the extra improvisation was added in at the end?
There were scenes that you see that I cut before it had finished. So, for example, when we're sitting writing the
Mhm.
poems somewhere in the beginning, that scene continued on with my character actually reciting his poem, and then that's how long we were shooting it. But I cut it there because I felt it would just be a bit too much, and the focus would not be on Jack anymore. So there's a lot
Okay.
of those where we did improvise more, but I just cut just because I wanted a bit more refined the actual story. But then there was also moments where we had this scene somewhere at the end, and Barry's character, he was supposed to leave. He's leaving the room like in an angry way. I can't remember exactly where, but we shot it like
Mhm.
5, 6 times because he kept forgetting to turn off this light at the end, which I needed to have off. But just a technical small thing like that, which sometimes, of course, anyone can, you can forget whatever, but you just yeah, you just have to keep going until you actually get it right in terms of like props and all of
Mm,
that things.
mhm.
So yeah, there was lots of those things happened too.
Okay, okay. Well, fair enough. It sounds like most of what you filmed is in the movie for the most part. And I guess we'll never hear what your poem was. Maybe as a
Ah,
extra feature on
well,
the Blu-ray.
potentially keep your eye out.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. So no spoilers here, but there's quite a twist in this movie that I didn't see coming because up until that point, um, it's comparable to many other found footage films, let's say. And I think the twist that you've added here makes this a truly unique film, amongst others that are similar. Um, did you always have that twist in mind when creating it? I'm assuming the answer is yes, but I would like to hear more from you about what was it like creating that twist from a writing perspective all the way to the filming process. And did you expand upon it? Expand upon it. Did you always have those end scenes in mind, that sort of feed into the twist that I'm not going to say what it is?
Very good questions there. Yes, so actually, when I went to write this first found footage movie of mine, I
Mhm.
was just like in a state of, okay, I wanted to have it a bit different and maybe have it end different or have different kind of twists to it. So I came up with the ending first because it's so different from other found footage movies, and then I wrote the movie backwards from there. So it all started with that twist at the end.
Oh, that's
Um,
amazing. I love that. Yeah, yeah. Keep going.
yeah, and then about the ending or those kind of extra scenes or whatever, not to spoil it too much.
Mhm.
Um, yes, there was a lot of different versions that I was thinking of. I was thinking of not having anything at all at the end. I was thinking of maybe just having one character, maybe 10. I mean, who knows, just to allude
Mhm.
other things for the
Mhm.
audience. But was the different endings in mind? Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think what you settled with really works, at least
Yeah.
from my perspective. So you've done a really nice job with your film. Um, I do have
Thank
sort
you.
of a fun question. I guess you may have spoken to this a little bit, but there are some really fun scenes in the movie when your character and Barry's character are dancing, playing pool. Um, and then there are some very dark scenes. So there's a really nice contrast between sort of the fun and then the dark scenes. Um, what was it like bringing those to life, sort of the fun and the dark and the contrasting scenes there? So what was it like sort of bringing to life those the differences there?
Yeah, writing a movie, I was like, okay, I have to have all the types of, emotional levels in there.
Yeah,
So
of course.
and of course, it's one thing to write that, and then you have to act it out. So, for example, let's say the more emotional scenes or the more serious scenes wasn't
Hmm.
the easiest to film. For example, the scene where I was filmed talking about something that happened in the past. If you remember that scene by the
Yes.
piano, for
Yes.
example, that one we did 2 takes, and then I just ended up being okay. Well, this is quite a hard one to film because I'm not really sure how to. It was hard to direct myself, and so I just took the
Mm.
first one, which was more natural and more organic than the more serious one I had afterwards. So I shot another one where it was like, oh,
Okay.
it just felt like I was putting on, maybe a tear fell. I can't remember, but yeah, like but just filming and trying to make it natural is super hard.
Yeah.
And then so that's why I've cut a lot in this a lot of things filmed and is cut to ensure that just the best parts are actually shown. Obviously, like they do in any movie.
Of course.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So that will be
And yeah.
the
And keep the
difficult.
pacing, right? The pacing has to keep
And the pacing as well, yeah. And then the
moving.
fun
Yeah.
parts, I'm not really sure. I mean, are you referring to the ones which scenes specifically?
Well,
If you can refresh
like
my
when you're
memory.
playing pool, and I love the scene when the two of you are sort of dancing to the music, and then he just
Oh
turns the
yes. Oh yeah.
music
Correct.
off. Up until that moment, it's like, oh my God, they're having so much fun. And
Oh
you're all
yeah.
both like in your own little world in that moment. I thought it was
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
correct. Yeah. So we filmed 10 times more than what I actually had there. But yeah, no, it was really fun, especially him, Barry being drunk and all of that. It was a lot. It was a very long speech he had as a character. It was a lot of It was super fun. It was actually one of the more
Cool.
fun thing. Actually, maybe I should have just a DVD or Blu-ray section just on that.
Just for
It
that,
was,
yeah.
yeah,
It's like you're attending the party with them. It was
yeah.
fantastic. And I'm guessing the two of you are still friends after all of this, yes?
Oh yeah, of course, of course, of
Yeah,
course, of
yeah.
course.
Okay, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Uh,
100%.
awesome. So I know that the film was played at some festivals, yes, and so you
Yes,
got
correct.
to experience it with a live audience. What was that like, and hearing their reactions and then getting their feedback afterward?
It was played at virtual festivals, although it was in
Virtual
one live
festivals.
audience.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I was in one live audience festival. I was not there, but yeah, it was just awesome to just see the reaction because this is at a time before it was launched online. So it was launched at FoundTV.com on November
Hmm.
8th last year, and in
Yes.
festival it was back in September. So it was just this crazy experience. Like, whoa, okay, I've come this far. Like, I made a movie. It's in festivals, and people are
It's
like writing comments about it, whether it's negative or positive, doesn't matter. People actually seeing something that
mhm.
I've made. Like, it's just mind-boggling. So which is insane and like awesome. And still to this day, I can't
Yeah.
believe even obviously any movie gets bad reviews, good reviews. To me, it's just wow, someone has put an hour of their time to watch my movie. I mean, there are probably millions of movies out there that they've just
Yes.
chosen mine, whether they hate it or love it. I mean, my mind is just blown. Like, I'm
Yes.
just so grateful for everyone just being interested and have a look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing. And again, congratulations.
thank
Um,
you.
right. And the fact that people are watching it and liking it, I think is just awesome. And of course, you're going to have, viewers who aren't fans. But like you said, at least they're taking the time to watch it and they're choosing your film over other films. And huge shout out to Found TV for playing your movie. And it's
Yes,
still there, still streaming. And I think it's on other
correct.
platforms now, from what I saw. So that's awesome.
Yes, that's
Um,
correct.
Yes. So one thing I like to ask is if you could describe your film using other movies, like Alien meets Predator, or I don't know, The Shining meets House on Haunted Hill, what would you choose, especially for those who haven't seen your film? What other films come to mind? I probably should have given you
Well, I
advance
would.
warning on this, but go ahead.
Well, I have two movies in my head.
Okay,
It would be
perfect.
Creep.
Yes.
Creep meets the Andy Baker tape meets
Mhm.
something with the wine. I'm trying to think of a wine movie out there. Sideways, is that a wine
Sideways, yeah,
movie?
that's the only one that comes to mind. I don't know.
Okay, let's say that then. Creep meets Sideways.
I love it. That works. Black Christmas, they drink a lot of wine in that, but that has nothing to do
Ah,
with this.
yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Perfect choices. My next question, which is kind of fun, is what is your favorite found footage film? If you could pick just one.
Oh, as I said before, it's Chronicle. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah, of
seeing it.
course. You did say that.
Uh, this is from 2012, and I remember seeing it in the theater. I lived in Sydney, Australia back then, and I
Mhm.
think I either saw it with a friend or I was alone, but there was no one else in the theater, a massive theater, and it was such a cool experience. Yeah, I watch
It's a
it
good
at
one.
least once a year, and yeah, I was hoping for the sequel. There was an idea of a sequel, but it never came into fruition. But
Uh,
you can hope, right?
yeah, hopefully, yes. And I think I have a copy of it right behind me. I know some of the Christmas movies are
Ah,
right here, so it's got to be.
oh yeah,
Well, let me see.
somewhere there.
Chronicle. Uh, I don't know. I know I own a copy. Guess my alphabetizing isn't that great, but it's somewhere behind me. Well, speaking of
Somewhere
sequels,
there.
would you? Yeah, yeah, somewhere in there. Speaking of sequels, would you ever do a sequel to The Winemaker? And before you answer, I was thinking you could do some prequels based on the ending, right? Some of those characters. Think of all the material you could have. Anyway, go ahead. Would you ever do a
Uh,
sequel?
yes, I mean, I have ideas for prequels, sequels. There's so many
Hmm.
ways this story can unfold from here on, even whether it's
Yeah.
prequel or sequel.
Hmm.
And there's also the whole larger picture, and you can just the whole this is what Jack is about, and just completely cast
Yeah.
everything new or make everything new. But yeah,
Hmm.
definitely, there's a lot of backstories. I saw someone was mentioning online that they would like I can't really spoil it, but a prequel of a specific person mentioned by the character.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yes,
that would
not to
be
spoil it.
awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's a lot of
Count me
I'm
in. That
very
would be
open.
cool.
Yes. And I'm also toying with it to make it. I mean, who knows what happened to Jack, the character, right? People assume a
Yeah,
certain thing. Could there be a continuation from there? So yeah, I'm open to all things that could happen.
very exciting. Well, I hope it does. Yeah, I hope it does. And count
Yeah.
me in
I will tell.
if it does. Yes, please let me know if that happens.
Sweet.
Let's see. So, actually, do you have a favorite film of the year so far?
Oh, of the year. I saw The Gorge, the
Oh, yeah,
Apple
that was
TV
good.
one.
I enjoyed
Yes,
that.
yes. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed the whole mood and the setting, and I wish we never saw what was down there.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was quite nice to just see them, interact up there. But that would be one of my highlights this year so far.
Yeah, I like that one too. Hard Eyes was kind of fun for like a slasher.
Yeah.
Gosh, I can't think of any others at the moment. But let's go right into this or that. So I gave you a little bit of a heads up before we started
Yeah.
recording. I basically ask you two things. You pick one or the other. There's no pressure, and usually there's no right or wrong answer. All right. So the tunnel or as above, so below.
As above, so below. And forgot that's one of my favorite found footage movies.
Oh, it's so good, right? As above, so yeah,
Yes.
I love that
Yes.
one too. The tunnel is good too, so it was hard to pick there. Let's see,
Mhm.
city or countryside vacation,
Countryside vacation.
perhaps at a winery.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Um, okay, back to movies here. Creep or Behind the Mask: The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
I've only seen Creep, so I can only say Creep.
Creep. Okay, we should check out The Rise of Leslie Vernon. It's great. It's sort of told in like a
Yeah.
fantasy reality where serial
Okay.
killers from movies really existed, like Freddy
Oh,
Krueger,
okay.
Jason Voorhees were real. And so this guy,
Okay.
he's like a wannabe serial killer, and they're like interviewing him on like how he would
Oh,
match up to them. It's kind of interesting. It's a fun watch.
okay.
Um, okay, let's see. Would you rather spend a night in an abandoned hospital or an abandoned mansion?
Oh, I'm gonna have to say mansion because I've always wanted to do that, but
That would be cool,
haunted
right?
hospital sounds great too, if it's
Scary,
haunted.
yes. Mansion. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay, so some more found footage here. Blair Witch Project or Paranormal Activity?
Paranormal activity.
Hmm.
It's a bit more
Okay.
modern, so to speak.
It is, yes, and it's
Yeah.
definitely faster paced in some ways.
Yes. Correct.
Let's see. Would you want to climb the highest mountain or submarine dive to the bottom of the ocean?
Highest mountain. Have you seen
Both are
Fall?
both are kind of
Maybe.
terrifying. Fall where they climb all the way to the top of the
Yeah, on the
Mm,
TV thing.
on like
Not a
the
mountain. No.
antenna. Oh,
Yes,
the
correct. No,
mountain
that's not.
fall. There's
Yeah.
two, right?
Oh, the other is there? Okay.
Are there?
I
There's
think
one
the
where they're on
antenna.
the antenna one. Yes, I did see that. Oh my God. And I'm terrified of heights, so that was a
Yeah,
lot.
that was a
Um,
really intense movie. Nothing to do with mountains, but that was a really
no, no.
intense movie.
And there was a mountain climbing film that was kind of like a mockumentary, maybe.
Oh,
I don't know. The names escape me. It'll come to me afterward, and I'll put it in the description. Okay, Willow Creek or Exists. Some Bigfoot found footage horror movie. If you've seen that.
I have not seen either.
Oh, okay. Well, check them out. They're good. If you're ever
Okay.
thinking, I want to watch some
I've heard
Bigfoot
of
horror
Willow Creek.
movies. Willow Creek is very good.
Okay.
There's like a extended tent scene that's terrifying.
Okay.
Terrifying. Okay, I have to ask this: red or white wine?
Oh, red.
Red wine.
More
I,
flavor.
I
And
thought
it
you
can
might
be
say that.
disguised as something else.
Exactly. Yes.
Just kidding.
No, I know what you mean. Okay, so two more. Hopefully you've seen this one or these: Horror in the High Desert or The Last Broadcast.
Horror on the High Desert, and I still have to see the third one.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I love the trilogy.
Yeah.
Those are some great films. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, last one. Halloween 1978 or Jaws?
Can I say Halloween 2018?
If you want to, yes.
I love the new trilogy. I'm not sure I've seen the
Oh,
original one,
cool.
to be honest, but I love the new trilogy.
Yes, I do too. You should absolutely watch the original. It's my favorite
Okay.
film. I almost said it's one of
Okay,
my
I should.
favorite. It is my favorite film. But excellent. Good answer. See, you scored 100% there.
Yay.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. Congratulations on Winemaker. I loved it. I hope other folks get to watch it as well and have the same experience that I did. I guess before I let you go, how can folks find you on social media?
I'm mainly on Instagram, so that's at emilstrom.mkv.
Yes, and that's how we found each other. Let's see. So
Yes.
if you
Thank
are,
you so
yes,
much for
awesome.
having me, and it's been awesome talking to you. And yeah, thank you.
Agreed. Yes, you're very welcome. It's been amazing. And congrats on your film. If you're watching, like and subscribe because it helps our channel. And Emil, thanks again. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.